Hello and welcome to my listing for eBay examination support. I really hope you do find this video enjoyable and informative with regards to how I can help you pass your proposed examination. Okay, and this examination support is going to cover all modules for the CISI, the CII and IFS University College exams. And you're talking to me, or you're listening to me today, Sam Mays, and I will talk about myself in a bit more detail later on. So let's have a look at what we're going to cover today. Today we're going to have a look at recommended examination modules of my examination support. I'm going to talk about me, Sam Mays. We're going to have a look at my contact details, in addition to what kind of examination support I provide, the way in which we will work together, what will be expected of you in terms of time management, and of course examination technique and next steps. So this document that I'm going through today, should you purchase the examination support, that will be forwarded on to you just so you can have a read of this in more detail. But essentially my tuition is based on a reactive support service. Okay, so the level of tuition that you will be enrolling for, should you purchase this this eBay listing, it's all going to be reactive. So I won't be able to help you unless you come to me. Okay, then when you come to me, I will be able to help you. Okay, and the way in which my tuition works is it's distinguished between passive and active learning. So I guess passive learning is very bland, very boring. I guess it's normally going to be a case that you will be watching or reading some kind of reply from me. It's not going to be particularly useful, and that's because no passive learning, in my opinion, is particularly useful. However, what I like to focus on, which is a real star method of revision, is active learning. So active learning is where I will challenge you, okay? And a challenge will typically be, tell me something. What's your understanding of this? Why did you answer the question initially like this? Did you give any consideration to X, Y, and Z? Okay, now do a calculation for me. Okay, it's much more powerful than the passive side of things. As I stated, the passive side of things is just reading something, which I don't think is particularly useful. It doesn't go into your longer term memory. Whereas if you do something via active learning, it's far more powerful. It's far more likely to sink in. You're far more likely to recall doing something or listening to a video almost in a conversational way. Probably more powerful. Okay, and it's my preferred learning style. Of course, I have to blend passive and active together because this is only a reactive tuition support. Nevertheless, the more you use me, the more beneficial it is for you. So let's have a look in terms of the recommended examination modules. Well, really, there are no recommended modules that I can't help you with. Moreover, these are the most common types of exam tuition that I do help with. So I guess I can go from level 7, which is the current CISI Masters in Wealth Management, or it's now called the Chartered Wealth Manager. Okay, that's the highest level qualification there is in the UK for investment and wealth managers, and I've got 100% pass rate with those, certainly for the last sit-in and the sit-in before that, so really proud of my pass rates there. So have a look at the Masters, we can also have a look at the PCIAM, we can start having a look at the diploma as well in terms of the modules. Fund management is quite interesting. Financial derivatives will turn your hair grey overnight, and mine also. It's a really tricky exam, definitely worthy of a level 7 place in my opinion. Okay, and then we've got the more vanilla modules in terms of the investment advice diploma, just for those seeking RDR status. In terms of the CII, well, I pretty much do all the qualifications for the CII. I prefer to do the advanced qualifications in terms of AF1, AF3, AF4 and AF5, just because they are more interesting. I think there's a lot of study materials and really great quality books that have been released by the CII in terms of the level 4 materials. So I don't really get a lot of level 4 work because I haven't really got the time for it. However, get in touch and I'll see if I can help out. But definitely the level 6 is really where it happens in terms of you know, really trying to think and understand how the subject matter works and relates to an exam question. The level 4 stuff is it's really it's interesting, but it's just mostly knowledge recall. So it will be lots of facts and figures that you need to remember. The only exception to that is RO3 and RO2, which I do get a lot of work for, and I like taking on because it's quite interactive and tricky, especially with some calculations at RO3 and mathematics at RO2. That's quite interesting, and I help a lot of students. In relation to J10 as well, the same principle applies. The JO9 exam actually, or the coursework, that's also quite useful to apply the grey matter. So that's the CII. In terms of the IFS college exams, university college exams, I do just need to do a conflict of interest. I am a current tutor for the level 6 advanced DIPFA on the TTC module. Those of you who are enrolled on that will know what I mean. And I'm also an author of this, the study materials for the MANI. Okay, so I do just need to be very careful with conflicts of interest there. Likewise with level 4 DIPFA, I am also a current tutor, so I need to be very careful with the conflicts of interest. Essentially this means if you are a tutor, sorry, a student of mine in my group, in my sit-in, I won't be able to help you, and that's because I have to manage my conflicts of interest very carefully. And finally, the IMC, the dreaded IMC for some people. The investment practice exam is such a wonderful exam in my opinion. It's got so much math, so much algebra, but there's no way that's a level 4. Absolutely no chance. So I get a lot of students come to me who just really help me, help them by going through the algebra, the maths, especially Forex, which is quite difficult. Anyway, we come up with lots of little tricks to try and navigate through that qualification. So you can see loads of modules that I can tutor across. These are the most popular modules and something I really enjoy helping my students. If you don't see your qualification there, do get in touch and I will let you know if I can help you with my diary and or if it's something that I will tutor across. Like I say, some of the modules, especially RO4, I don't really pick up a lot of work for just because RO4 is quite a lot of facts and information and you just got to memorize them. And likewise with RO5, I try not to pick up a lot of work for. However, if you're really struggling, I will of course be delighted to help you with those particular modules. So in terms then of the modules, we've had a look at that, and what I need to do now is I need to talk about myself now in a bit more detail, just so you can kind of understand why I think I can help you and why I think you should listen to me and why I've had such great success in the past. So as stated, my name is Sam and I'm currently a Chartered Financial Planner, Chartered Fellow. I hold the CISI Masters in Wealth Management, the IMC, the CMAP, the Diploma for Financial Advisor. I'm currently a CFA candidate, having already passed some exams within that. So in terms of knowledge and being able to apply that knowledge to exams, I'm pretty good. I think I understand what it's like to be a student. I understand a student, they just want the knowledge to pass the exams in most instances. The real critical appreciation, evaluation of the subject matter comes when you've got the exam and you're applying that knowledge to clients. I totally understand that. That's where my preferred learning style is, just to give you the core facts and information and the technique to pass the exams, which in some cases aren't particularly born out of real world life. Okay, so I help you get past the exam. Okay, and within the level 6 and the level 7 stuff, a real critical evaluation and appreciation of the subject matter does come, but again, that's applied only to the exam. Okay, because a lot of those exams aren't really, related to day-to-day financial planning in terms of what you would do with a client or in your reports, etc. However, the examination side of things is where I can really, really help. Now, I'm also a tutor, a lecturer, an examiner, an author, a subject matter expert for various global examining bodies now, and tuition providers, and also major examination boards within the UK. So I do have experience in what the examiner's looking for, what you should and shouldn't be doing. Okay, and as stated, my track record, I teach hundreds, literally hundreds of students. I've currently got about 130 students that I'm managing at the moment. And like I say, I really, really enjoy my job, and I'm really confident that I can help you pass your examination. So in terms of contact details, probably the best way to get a hold of me is to have a look at my eBay listing and contact me via eBay, or you've got my contact details there. And I don't think I'm allowed to actually say my contact details as per eBay's rules. So if you do purchase this, you will be able to have a look at all of my contact details on the PDF that I send you. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. What is this examination support? So examination support, if I just put this in the style of my tuition, is in as little words as possible, it's essentially ask me anything as often as you like. I should probably put a little caveat on the end, I'm not talking about your personal life or anything like that, so just keep it relevant to your exam. That would be great. And what I want to say is also utilize my support as often as you like. Okay, it really is a comprehensive service. Although it is reactive, you will get more out of it if you use me as much as you can. Now, I do have some students that will rarely use me because they just like knowing that I'm in the background, and why wouldn't you? I've got the experience and the qualifications, and it's only £9.99, so it's not exactly a dent in the bank. Okay, I do have other students that will absolutely, really stretch this use and abuse, and they will really get their money's worth, but absolutely love it. Okay, and some of my replies are a minute or two long. It doesn't take me long to bang out an email or a video lecture, which is this. And I guess, like with anything, if you know the answers, or the questions and the answers, it's quite easy to get in touch with students at quite a rapid rate. One of the other questions that I do get quite often is, what's the time limit for the email support? Well, essentially, I have to put some kind of time limit on it, and it's 12 months or until you pass your exam, whatever comes sooner. And the reason I put a time limit on is because I don't want to be, fulfilling this role as a compliance consultant, where students will start asking me about real live cases and what they should do, and therefore making me vicariously liable for the advice. It's not something we do. My advice is only related to examinations, and that's in the disclaimers upstairs, which is on this this PDF. But enough of that legal nonsense. Essentially, it's just 12 months or until you pass your exam, whatever comes sooner. Now, a second bonus is that I do tutor across a vast array of qualifications. As stated, it's a bit out of date now, but I've got about around around about 135 active exam candidates. So I do like to mix and match students. So if, you know, I've got one student doing IMC Unit 2, another one comes in, I will introduce you to, unless you don't want me to introduce you, just so you can, you know, bounce ideas off one another. And I will kind of copy you into replies, etc. So it just makes sense to me. It's always good to have a study buddy. And bonus 2 is that all my enrolled students, you will receive periodical articles of interest relevant to your examination, diary reminders, and little brain teasers. I do have like a LinkedIn IMC group. Sorry, not a LinkedIn IMC group, a LinkedIn Investment Theory and Financial Mathematics group, which is cross modules. So for the CFA, the IMC, AF4, MANI, then we start having a look at the PCT, AWM, FINMA, fund management, derivatives. So just investment theory and mathematics. That's where a lot of my work comes from. It's the mathematics and the investment core theory. So a little LinkedIn group, which is really great. Okay, question I get asked all the time is, why are my online support materials $9.99? Well, there's two reasons for that. Okay, and it's my particular business model. One, as stated above, I love my job, I love helping students. There really is no better feeling for me when a student will say, look, Sam, I passed my exam, thanks, I was really struggling with that, I had pressure from my boss, pressure at home, blah, blah, blah. I've managed to pass my exam and I passed it really well, so thanks so much. Okay. Or a student will come to me and say, oh, look, thanks for that email or that video reply. It's just really sunk in, the penny's dropped. Thanks very much. Okay. So that's a really great feeling for me. And like I stated, because I've done so many exams and I'm always doing exams, I'm able to absolutely, you know, reply to you within about 24 hours. And it doesn't take me too much time to actually get the answers out to you, because more often than not I don't need to research the answers. It's just kind of knocking around in my head somewhere. The second reason, and this is my business model, and it's the reason I do the tuition, the reactive tuition at $9.99, is because I hold 1 or 2 day revision workshops, approximately 15 per class size, all around the UK for various examination sittings in April, June, October and December for employers and private individuals. And guess where a lot of my referrals come from? It comes from the examination support. So typically it's students like you that I hope you will have great examination support, great quality examination support materials. You will know that I'm credible, I've got the answers, I'm helping you progress. Okay, and you know, hopefully you will sign up to a revision class. Okay, and revision classes can be normally based in Bristol. I do it in the Bristol Conference Centre. They've got the best facilities, so students will, you know, fly down or come to a hotel overnight and have a good 12-hour session with me. And that keeps me busy for 8, 9, 10 weeks of the year, depending on the exams that the students are doing. And the other type of tuition I do is a one-on-one remote 8-hour session. And this is just really me and you, totally bespoke. Me and you, we sit down in advance, we work on your weaker areas, and then I will present a live Q&A weaker area webinar. Okay, just maybe a couple of weeks before the exam or something like that. And so that's where my most profitable work comes from, and I think it's a no-brainer business model. Now, of course, if you buy this, it doesn't mean you have to sign up to that. I work on the laws of averages, so absolutely no pressure. But if you need any more questions answered about that, feel free to get in touch. So let's have a look at work in practice. So I've already mentioned there, you know, I want you to use and abuse my exam support as much as you like. I really want to help you pass this examination. Okay, but you must remember this is only reactive. Okay, whilst I will be sending periodical updates every now and then, checking in on you, seeing how you're doing. Okay, I won't know if you're struggling with an area unless you tell me, unless you send an email over to me, unless you phone me. Okay, and so what I will do then is I will pick up your email, and then I will either answer it via a quick email, challenge your understanding, see what's going on, or I will do a video reply, which is very similar to this. So this is where a student will come to me and say, look, Sam, I don't understand what covariance is, stressing me out, just help me out. And so I'll do a quick 5, 10 minute, 20 minute, 30 minute video reply, and I will try and encompass some kind of context, a question, just see what's going on. Okay, and there's loads of examples. If you go to my YouTube channel, there's loads of examples on actually the freebies I put on there is the IMC Unit 2. So go to YouTube, check out my channel, and you will be able to see the kind of way it works in terms of the videos replies that I do, which I think is a really great way to learn. Okay, so the working practice is very much that. You must use and abuse my service to get value for money. Well, you're getting value for money anyway, but if you really want my support, you must let me know. Okay, if you've got a question, I will not be checking in on you over and above what I've said. Okay, I'm not going to be coming to you, right, this week we're doing Kaplan, next week we're doing Beta, next week we're doing Jensen. It doesn't work like that. You are on a reactive based tuition program. It's not like my other live tuition that I do, which is every week we'll have 2 webinars. It's not that. It's completely reactive. You need to get in touch with me so I can get in touch with you. Okay. Quite importantly, as stated, I do have around about 130 students. So my turnaround SLA is really 24 hours. I do aim to be a lot quicker, just get it done and dusted. However, if I'm going to be a bit longer, I will let you know. But 24 hours is the best. Is the best estimation that I can give you. Okay. Also, it's quite important to note that one question at a time is best. I do have students that will just email me 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 questions at a time sometimes, and that's great. You can do that. You've got unlimited support. Use and abuse this service. Do what you want. However, if you do that, I will also give you 10 replies back. Okay, which means that all of a sudden you're overloaded yourself. Which means that, do you really understand each of those replies in detail? So what I would rather say is that if you do one question at a time, check and challenge your understanding, is far more powerful than you trying to read everything all at once that you send to me. Okay, because I do work at an extraordinary rate, and I will forward a lot of replies back to you. Because I see everything as a to-do list. So if I can do something that's in my inbox, I will do it as soon as I can. So like I stated, if you've got 10 replies to me, I will give you 10 replies back. Okay, so more powerful if you pace yourself, if you take each question at a time. Make sure you understand it, that I'm happy with your understanding. We put it to bed, then we move on to the next question. So, hope that gives you a good heads up there. We've already spoken about reactive support. I think I've laboured that point. And we've talked about passive and active. And we've spoken about my best email addresses. I don't think I'm allowed to say those. And now we shall move on to time management. Time management, really essential to your studies. So I have given you some brief outlines of what to do in terms of getting started, how to plan your time, your studies, making the best use of your time, in addition to when choosing when to study that suits your lifestyle. Okay, and also when you do set the time aside, how to actually study. And I'm a fan of frequent short bursts. Okay, it's far more powerful to do 4 45-minute sessions and rather than one big long 3-hour session, especially if it's only the useless passive learning. I do regard passive learning as essentially useless. It doesn't go into the longer term memory. So we're all about active learning here. Okay, and then I do cover off some written examination context in terms of question types, an exam technique, how to explain, critically evaluate, calculate or list or identify. They're the 3 types of questions you will get. And there's some brief headings there. So once you get the PDF after you've ordered, have a read of this important page and then challenge me to really challenge you in terms of examination context. Essentially, as an examiner, trust me when I say the examiner is looking to make you pass, but you need to highlight your exam answers in bullet point fashion. You need to know, define, justify, and recommend. And that will all come apparent when you get in touch with me about examination technique. But I think define, justify, recommend is the perfect exam strategy. So very quickly, define is you define the subject matter. Recommend is where you will make a recommendation. And justify is where you will justify that recommendation with advantages and disadvantages. It's a really, really great strategy to answer your examination questions. And finally, I think we're there. So in terms of next steps, what I want you to do is I want you to get in touch with me if you've got any more questions about my examination support. Okay, and if you decide to go ahead with the examination support for just $9.99, I think it's fantastic value, perhaps you can just send me a quick email, introduce yourself with a little bit of background on your current job and what exam journey you've got mapped out and why. I.e., are you only looking to get your level 4 RDR compliance, or do you have chartered status on your radar? And then after all of that, you start asking me a question, okay? And we pick up in terms of making sure that you understand that question. So once again, it's been a pleasure. I hope you found this video useful. I really look forward to helping you and getting past your exam. Thank you very much for your time.